Deep within Russia's Rostov Oblast lies the city of Salsk, home to one of the most critical railway junctions in the country. This junction has long been a lifeline for Vladimir Putin's war machine, ensuring a steady flow of weapons and supplies to Russian troops in Ukraine. But today, that supply line has been severed. In the early hours of July 29th, a massive Ukrainian drone strike reduced this crucial military hub to a blazing inferno. No trains will be reaching Russian frontline troops today. According to reports from Militarny, Ukraine launched a widespread drone offensive across several Russian regions, with Salsk being a primary target. Drones zeroed in on the railway junction with devastating accuracy, igniting a firestorm that has already been captured in multiple videos shared by Rostov residents. The footage is undeniable. Towering plumes of smoke rise into the night sky, illuminated by the relentless blaze consuming what was once a vital artery of Russian military logistics. One of the most striking clips captures the moment of impact. A distinct drone whir fills the air, followed by a thunderous explosion that sends a fireball into the sky. Other videos show the scale of destruction from a distance, with flames and smoke painting the horizon. Militarny also shared images of a freight train engulfed in flames, suggesting that Ukraine specifically targeted both the junction and the military hardware being transported. Predictably, Russian officials have fallen back on their usual denials. Unable to dismiss the overwhelming evidence, they've instead claimed that the damage was caused by falling drone debris rather than a successful Ukrainian strike. Russian railways released a statement insisting that at 2 a.m., debris from a drone disrupted the overhead contact system, sparking a fire on a stationary freight train. Casualties were downplayed, and the narrative of debris damage was pushed in an attempt to salvage the illusion of effective air defenses. But the sheer volume of eyewitness videos, photographs, and aftermath reports make these denials laughable. Russia's fallback excuse of drone debris has been trotted out after nearly every successful Ukrainian strike on Russian soil, as Putin tries to convince his population that Russia's air defenses are still holding strong. Yet, every new fireball and crater tells a different story, one of failing defenses and mounting losses. Euromaidan Press detailed the aftermath, noting that Salsk is situated approximately 155 miles from the front lines. This distance made it an ideal target for Ukraine's long-range drones, which proved to be a more practical choice than Western missile systems like Storm Shadow or ATACMS for this particular mission. The result was a precision strike that turned the junction into a symbol of Russian vulnerability. Official Russian sources admitted that 2 fuel tanks and a locomotive were hit during the attack. Interestingly, rumors of an evacuation order for Salsk began circulating among local residents, revealing a deep sense of panic. Such rumors don't spread unless civilians believe the situation is dire. The attack severity was further evidenced by shattered windows on passenger train number 59, which had to evacuate its passengers before cautiously resuming its journey. While Russian authorities claim that only minor damage occurred, the deployment of 12 emergency vehicles and 45 personnel to contain the fires tells a different story. At least 9 long-distance trains faced significant delays due to the strike. Given Russia's tendency to downplay Ukrainian successes, it's highly likely the actual damage to Salsk Station is even more extensive than reported. The War Zone TWZ corroborated these reports, suggesting Ukraine's true target was a supply train carrying fuel, lubricants, and military equipment bound for frontline operations, including those in occupied Crimea, Luhansk, and Donetsk. Disrupting the supply chain at such a strategic junction was a calculated blow to Russia's offensive capabilities in the Donbass. But Salsk was not Ukraine's only target that night. Drone strikes also hit a traction substation in the nearby village of Orlovsky, a key power source for Russia's railway network. While the Russian Defense Ministry claims to have shot down 74 Ukrainian drones across various regions, the glaring hole in their narrative is the charred remains of Salsk Station, which continues to smolder. This latest strike is part of a larger Ukrainian strategy that has increasingly focused on crippling Russia's rail infrastructure. Since May, Ukraine has launched a series of calculated attacks on railway lines, substations, and trains, both with drones and with the help of pro-Ukrainian partisan sabotage groups inside occupied territories. Each successful hit throws a wrench into Russia's logistics, slowing down troop movements and cutting supply lines that are vital to sustaining offensive operations. The choice of Rostov as a target is no coincidence. The oblast serves as a key logistical and command hub for Russia's entire military effort in Ukraine. It's home to the Russian Southern Military District and the headquarters that coordinate Russian joint forces. Rostov also carries symbolic weight. It was here that Wagner mercenaries launched their short-lived mutiny in June 2023, temporarily seizing control of the city's military command center. Ukraine's repeated strikes on Rostov send a clear message. No region, no matter how critical to Russia's war effort, is beyond Ukraine's reach. While a direct Ukrainian ground operation in the area remains implausible due to heavily fortified Russian positions in the Donbass, every drone strike chips away at Putin's ability to wage war effectively. Ukraine's fixation on Russia's railways is strategic and deeply calculated. Russia is a rail-dependent military power, relying on its vast network of tracks to move troops and equipment quickly and in bulk. As the Moscow Times noted, rail is not just one logistical option among many for Russia. It's the only viable way to maintain a prolonged military campaign. This over-reliance has turned Russia's railways into a massive, sprawling vulnerability. No matter how hard Russia tries, it cannot protect every junction, substation, or rail line across its vast territory. The July 29 strike on Salsk is just the latest proof of that fact. With every attack, Ukraine is refining its strategy, exposing the soft underbelly of Russia's military infrastructure, and demonstrating that Putin's armored trains and fortified stations are not invincible. Whether these attacks will be enough to halt Russia's war machine remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. Ukraine's ability to strike deep into Russia's logistics network is evolving into a serious, sustained campaign. The destruction at Salsk is not an isolated incident. It's part of a broader pattern that suggests Ukraine is ready to grind Russia's war effort to a halt, one rail junction at a time.